Hi there, I'm Brook, this is Margaret, this is Sergi from Stickmen Media.
Fuck, that was quick.
I know, we didn't do the usual
No.
preamble.
Oh, God.
No, cocked that up a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really, I was trying to, let's go for that neat beginning, which we've now cocked up because we've noticed it and paid attention to it and commented on it.
Oh, my God.
So, I'm Brook Waters, Margaret and Sergi from Stickmen Media, and
And
as
we're
usual,
rushing into this hour.
we are streaming the development of our game After the Light, a zombie survival horror game that we're doing. So I'll actually turn on the background and we'll make sure
some
Sergi's
shit
got something to
happen.
talk about. That's the crossbow that just popped up there.
Shall we, before we get into this, perhaps we should just talk about what After the Light is again. We kind of rush into this without really explaining, and we've got lots and lots of videos up there now.
Alright, I'll explain at the end. Now, After the Light is a zombie survival horror that we are doing. We're doing a Oculus version, Oculus Vive version, as well as a straight screen version.
It's scary beautiful.
Yeah, scary beautiful is what we're aiming for. But
That's
for now,
what we-
Sergi's missing his missing the stuff he's supposed to be talking about. So Sergi, you're actually blocking in the crossbow today. So so this is a skill that you've basically got to acquire. So you've got to be able to start something off and get it roughly done, without all the concept done at this point.
Yeah, I only had the perspective view, a very early concept from Lincoln. I was working with that yesterday. So here what I am doing is, as you said, it's just blocking the shapes, so to have at least the proportions of the crossbow. And at the same time there are some parts that I start detailing a little bit because more or less it's in the concept was already finished. But basically yes, I usually start depending on the model, but in this case I start with cubes, trying to make just the based in polygonal modeling directly, because this is hard surface, so it's much easier to me to work directly with Maya. And yes, this is the body of the crossbow, and I duplicate just to have symmetry and have a middle line, so I can always have a reference for this kind of shapes. So because they are very precise, and you know it's mathematical precise, so you have to.
That's precise for English
Precise.
speakers.
Sorry.
Focus.
Precise. I was thinking, say precise or precise.
Yeah, it's precise.
Precise. Okay, I will not forget it.
The problem is that I understand you,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't think to correct it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but do it.
I'm only
please.
thinking of it because there's an audience here. Otherwise, I would have just
Yeah.
Yeah. The audience say, "What the hell?"
2 weeks from now I'd be using
what the
precise. and
actual
think-
fuck is this dude talking? Sounds great. Not a clue.
Okay.
It's way nicer than a Kiwi accent.
You know,
Accent. Fuck. See?
it's just a flat accent.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, this is the part of the handle. There are lots of terminology here that I don't manage pretty well to
So
say.
I think the stock at this point, so that's the part that goes against your shoulder.
No, the shoulder part is the other one, where is the canister.
Ah, right, okay.
So this is what is the trigger. So
Ah, right, okay.
yeah, look at.
Yes, I get you.
But at the end, one of the things that we changed this morning was precisely that part, the end part. What did you say? That the stock
The
part.
stock, yeah.
We changed that to another model, so yeah, that will have to be redone. So what I'm doing is proportions and see with the concept and other references that I had to take, just roughly to know exactly how big is this weapon.
So just as just for the benefit of those that are listening,
So she's Spanish.
Yeah,
yes, that's north of the North Island for those that don't know.
yeah.
So this weapon is actually a little bit steampunk weapon. It's not steam powered as such because the bolts still fly from a string, basically a drawn string, but it is armed and reloaded using steam power. So
Yes.
They could be kind of hot to the touch.
So it does have a steam canister at the back. So for steam, read gas, could be anything. But essentially something that would be workable in Victorian times with a little sci-fi edge. So.
Yes. So yeah, here is what I do is jump between different pieces, so I can have the overall shape of everything, and I see exactly how it looks in all the orthographic and perspective mode.
Yeah.
This is one of the new pieces from Lincoln's concept. I don't really exactly know how to say what is this, but it's just the front part that has two knives or something like this.
So it's is that sort of the front part of an iron sight that so somebody can actually sight the weapon?
Yeah, something like that, I think. But for me it's like, you know, like the bayonet in Japanese World War II, when they have the bayonet in the rifle. For me, something like that, but for a crossbow. So it looks for me like something you can stab people. Yeah.
You're feeling a bit of a bit stabby rather than
than shooty.
Yeah, then feel free to use that bit. I think it might be a bit short for that purpose, so I am wondering.
What? It might be a Tesla thingy. It might be
exactly.
like a
it's to stab the other people's eyes directly if they come too close to you.
Yeah. You're in the eyes, yeah.
Yeah, that's it, that's the...
Or it's a primitive taser.
Yeah. Powered by Tesla energy, which it would have to be for this story. Cause
exactly.
They didn't have electricity, but they did have Tesla energy. Yeah.
It's a Tesla.
It's powered by Tesla.
Oh, come on.
I get it.
Oh.
So more pieces.
Okay.
Blocking.
Now that is definitely part of an iron sight.
Yeah, I suppose, yes.
So there should be a little groove in that, right?
Oh, we're on safe ground now.
Yes.
I'm very bad in weapons terminology. So I'm very bad in terminology.
We'll have to send you off to the medieval fair.
Oh, dear Lord.
Get you fighting in armour so you know all the bits.
Yeah.
I'm quite bad myself at naming all the bits of armour. But,
yes.
even though I should know them by now.
This is a donut.
Donut? Right, in case you get a bit hungry.
I was hungry when I was doing this.
So what does the donut actually do?
I think this is for the aim or sight.
Oh, okay. So it's not an iron sight. This is like a scoped sight.
Yes, it has a small scope sight. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I just need. Okay.
So the crossbow actually came to light rather late in the piece of the story, when we had a really good idea for a level, but it required a silent weapon. Up until then, we'd just been concentrating on rifles and pistols. But yeah, I think the crossbow will be an interesting addition to the armoury.
If we figure out how it works.
For my personal taste, this is the one that I like most.
You like this weapon?
Yeah, well, the crossbow, I like the weapons that doesn't make any sound, or it's very silent.
You like to use them or like to make them?
Use them in video games.
Oh, okay.
yeah, like in video games.
So you don't like the noise? Is this why you didn't want to come to the pistol shooting?
Yes, I'm a little bit sensible with noises and very hard, loud noises. That's the thing.
Pistol shooting is very loud. They give you earmuffs, but it's still quite a racket when you start firing.
Exactly.
You know, you're this far from something that's making a heck of a lot of noise.
Yeah, you know, I like always to have my coffee in my hand, so if I hear something very loud, I don't know where the coffee will go next. But yes.
Actually, a few people were pretty good at that. Ben Maher and Diego in particular. Really, yeah.
I'm good at Quake.
You're good at Quake?
Yeah, in Quake, much better for me.
I don't think the gun doesn't kick as much in Quake.
No.
But it did at the pistol range.
Well, the closest thing I have tried is VR with Oculus. If that works. So yes, it's more trying to. What I tried here is, I saw the concept and just split all the parts completely in my mind, so I could just make them independently. This is one example. there are small different pieces, very blocky everything, but
Yep.
we can see the overall shape of the crossbow at the moment.
Yeah, we should have had the picture of the concept so we could actually pull that up and show it. shouldn't we?
Yes, I tried to, when I remember, I put the concept in this screen, but usually I have the drawing in the other screen because I use small one here. But yes, there are lots of tweaks in this stage trying to figure out exactly how.
Yeah, because the string's actually got to be up there because we have to be able to
Yes.
release it
Mm.
and have it travel forward.
Yes, that's where I have the holes in the main body of the crossbow. First I put it in this way, but later there is another revision of this, more straight, more up.
Did you get any reference for like real crossbows? Did you have a look
Yeah.
at some and how they?
Yes. I was looking different crossbows just to have some views. Of course, it's not the same concept, but more or less the similar idea.
Like
Because
checking out the firing mechanism and stuff like that.
A
Yeah.
crossbow is a crossbow, so. But yeah.
Unless it's a stabby thing.
Yes, this is the only thing different.
Yeah. I really want that to be a taser on the front.
I think it
A
will be.
stabby taser.
Yeah, just paralyze the person and then shoot at his face.
Yeah. Oh,
Perfect. It's combo.
fuck, that's wonderful.
Mm.
I do like the stabbing in the eyes. I think the taser in the eyes would be even nicer.
Not too steampunk.
So this is Margaret who doesn't like video games because of the violence.
Oh, what complete bollocks! I only like violent video games. Utter bullshit.
She is very fond of Dead Island.
I like
Well,
stabby things and shooty things.
She not only likes to shoot the zombies, she then likes to stomp on their head just to make sure.
You should have to try Dying Light then. Dying Light is another zombie game.
Oh, excellent.
Very
Do you
good.
shoot them and,
It's from the same people like
very
Dead
good.
Island, so yeah,
fantastic.
you can try someday.
If the shooting, stabbing, and otherwise, sniping. Sniping is
yeah,
very
my
nice.
I do
partner
enjoy
loves-
sniping.
Yeah, my partner loves sniping as well in video games.
Ah, you put a groove with that, Travis.
Yeah, you keep qualifying that. It's okay. I don't think anybody's going to come to your door.
Yeah, this fucking immigrant.
Sergi.
Yeah.
We hear you like to snipe.
Show me your visa.
Yeah. And your guns.
Your
And your
guns.
silent
I'm
weapons.
worried about that. I used to play.
And your limbs.
Yes, and your limb library. Fuck.
I used to
Wow.
play Grand Theft Auto, and
Oh,
one of the things I used to do was Grand Theft Auto 3, maybe, and which is the one with the Russians. Anyway, so I used to like to zoom through town in a sports car down to the helipad, shoot everybody at the at where the helicopters were, grab a helicopter and fly to the top of the bridges and park there, and then pull out my sniper rifle and just start taking out civilians. And I often thought, if anybody was watching this behaviour, I would so be on a list somewhere.
You and how many millions of others?
But the fun
Shooting
part is,
prostitutes and policemen.
you shoot the civilians, and eventually the army comes with their helicopter, and then you can use the rocket launcher and start taking down helicopters. So you get a really wide variety. I always enjoyed that.
Exactly.
Pretty much anybody playing that could be visited by some sort of authority at some point, I would say.
I guess, maybe rightly so. I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Yep.
It's certainly a strange preoccupation to want to go home and snipe people.
Yeah, it's a hobby.
Well, yeah, maybe it depends on your actual motivation, doesn't it?
Mhm.
I mean, is it the killing part, or is it the fuck, I solved that problem and now he's dead part?
Actually, I have to say the civilians are not as much fun as getting the bad guys. That's always great. Played Far Cry 4 on the weekend.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's just cool with your high-powered weapon.
Far Cry is very good for that.
Yeah.
Just killing everything.
Yeah, there's two specific challenges I like in Far Cry. One is the Outpost Master,
Huh?
where you've got to take the outpost and try and maximise your score. And of course, you're always trying to get headshots or get up close and do the stabby thing. And the other one is the arena, Sharnath Arena, where you have you get to use your weapons, but you've got to be fast. People are running around, people are shooting at you, and you've got to.
Yes,
You know,
in
the weapons challenges and that. I think there's 39 weapons you have to go through and try and win.
Fuck that shit. I
And
just
your
want to shoot people.
last opponent is a rhinoceros, which is really not easy, especially when you're shooting him with a pistol.
Yeah, they don't go down easy with a pistol.
Humiliation directly.
All right.
Okay, well, we see another cube.
Mm-hmm.
That's for another shape. It's the front part. This is some kind of thing that puts together different parts of the front part of the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Since neither of us knows what that front part's called.
exactly. That's my problem with this. So yes, the drum. I think that's the drum.
Okay.
This is the first shapes for the drum. That just the cylindric forms and
So that's where the bolts will actually be loaded
yes,
from.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, this is just everything, polygonal modeling, just all the time, and trying to make all the shapes similar to the concept that you have. I'm using Boolean here to just make the holes. I use a duplicated version of this and make the difference and get the hole.
Ah, okay.
But anyway, we changed this concept, so this is different at the moment. This part.
Okay. It's very interesting to see how quickly it comes together during this blocking stage.
Yeah.
Because I know some of the.
Especially at 6 times speed.
6 times.
Oh, this is yeah.
It's amazing how quick it comes together.
This one's actually 4 times.
Oh wow.
It's actually not even that. It's 3 times. 3
3 times, I think, because it's 3 hours footage.
Yeah.
God, it's dragging then.
So this is Sergi working at half speed.
Yeah.
Last time was 6 times. This is 3
More
times.
coffee, Sergi.
Yeah, it's you put music and you start making these things.
But it is amazing how quickly this part comes together, and then how long all the refinements take when you start texturing
That's
and
it.
normal mapping and all that sort of stuff.
And not only that, is because of the high geometry. If you try to put more detail in the geometry itself, it takes time as well, because that's But this is the most important. Ironically, this is the most important stage, because you have the weapon here. After that, you can start making all the fancy things you want to do. But at the moment, this is very, very important.
So, what exactly kills a zombie? I mean, putting something through his dried up little brains. He may not even have brains in there. He's been fucking dead. What? So, it's a little bit arbitrary, isn't it? Just putting it out there.
It's just shooting a zombie.
Yeah.
That's it.
So what kills the zombie? What was
in
animating it in the first place?
In
Was
the
it its
story,
brains?
their souls are animating them.
Well, hard to shoot the soul, even
Nothing-
with the stabby thing.
Nothing can actually kill a zombie in the story, but you can temporarily put them down, because what happens is if you give them any sort of lethal attack, it tears their soul out of them, which then tries to find a halls of the dead, which is now open because there's no longer the law of death holding them back, so they can quickly return to their bodies and come back again. So when we do the full game, the Clockwork Assassin, when you actually clear an area and you've killed all the zombies, if you hang around too long, they start coming back to life. So it doesn't pay to actually hang about. You'll have to clear the area and move on.
What if you cut him in different parts?
Yeah.
Well, one of the interesting things to do for that game, and we don't want to give too much away, but might well be to delimb a zombie so that it can't actually run after you.
So they are still alive, but they can move.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
So
cure.
he's got to drag himself along on his teeth if you've taken all his limbs off.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or
Well, I'm
wiggle.
I'm not going to provide reference for that.
That will be a good one.
I can see it. I can picture it. Somebody trying to
Well, maybe you should provide the reference then.
drag himself along on the ground with his teeth only. Yeah.
Then you have to remove his teeth.
I think they won't be there for long in any case.
I tell you something we haven't seen for a while is Enter Dreamland. I wonder if he still watches.
So I don't know what piece is that, but it looks like a finger, but it's not a finger.
No.
No, it's the yeah.
You haven't gone back to the beginning, have you?
It's the final. It's the final crossbow. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. This is the. Oh, I don't know how to explain this. This is the part. Final. I don't know if that's the correct word. But the other day, someone said that this is the cock. The crossbow.
To
You know,
Not
for me
quite.
sounds horrible.
no, I think they're pulling your leg so that you'd say, "This is the cock on."
This is the cock of the crossbow cock.
No, cocking the crossbow is when you pull the string back and
Can you
lock it
do
in.
that?
So
You
is
do
that
that with a gun, but I don't know if you do that with a crossbow.
But
you do cock a crossbow? You've got to pull the string back and put it in place behind the.
That's drawing it.
Yes, you draw the bow.
so that's not a cock.
I don't know. Maybe it is.
Because
I
that's
don't know.
what. That's what. This is not mine. This is from Lincoln's and Matt.
It's really good to get clear on these things.
Okay. No, I mean.
So Lincoln, is this really a cock?
Yeah, Lincoln, please clarify this. Where is the cock in the crossbow?
The cock?
The cock. Yeah, is that part? This one,
No,
the arc.
it's back in the mechanism.
But it's called cock, right?
Well, the act of pulling it back is cocking it.
Yes, the act of pulling it back is
You
cocking.
fool me.
Right? No, an actual mechanism.
But he's just called it a cock on the stream.
The little levers of the
Sorry.
cock.
Not at all.
Okay. So
All right. So it's
Moving
not
on.
a cock, but,
it's not a cock.
but it is part of the mechanism of cocking the crossbow.
You're welcome to engrave a small one on it.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Interesting when people see it in the game. I remember that episode on Twitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could
Oh,
happen.
that is the cock.
You can always put an Easter egg or something
Yeah,
in the texture.
if they look closely at their weapon. Etched into that nice brass plate on top.
So now it looks like more crossbow.
Yeah,
It's an interesting thing to see how the little pieces stick together and you can see the final overall shape of the model when everything is in place. So this is one example because there are lots of different small pieces.
so that thing in the stock is the gas canister or
Yeah.
a steam canister from which...
Yes, Canada.
Yeah.
Gas canister, yes.
And now what I'm doing here is sometimes I get help from Zebrai's if the shape is very, how to say that, a little bit organic. I mean, it's not organic, but it's like rounded and things like that. So what I do is combine the pieces that I will just put together, make a rough sculpt,
Okay.
so I can just smooth it out a little bit and yeah, just as a very basic sculpt just for the blocking stage and for the final model. In this case, what I did is combine the two pieces together
Yeah,
and refining.
so made it one organic shape rather
Yes.
than two separate blocks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
for me much easier just to think like if this is something organic. And then what I do is
50,000 polys just in that bit.
yeah, it's optimized for gaming. I think was it pretty close what you said. It's 2,000 polygons, so it's pretty close. I don't know if you said that randomly, but
No, I said it randomly, but it's not close. 2,000 and 50,000 is miles apart.
yeah, but that's polygon, so it's triangles, it's a double. So more or less it's 1,000. And yeah, keep working on the shape, and what I do is I will make an automatic remesher and protopology in here for just having some flow in the loops. But yes, it's trying to make it similar to the original shape in the concept. And after this I will get back to Maya, and I'll make a low poly piece from here. So yes, that's it.
Okay, so that's the low poly piece. You can
Yeah, but
Make it quiet.
no, because I was actually after. I
I'll
was
leave it
after
open
that
there so you
message.
can see it.
there it is. Anyway, I think I make a new model from here because I just wanted to reduce poly count a little bit. So
Okay, so being organic like that, that's probably a piece of wood, is it? That's actually going to be used for that.
yes, I wanted to have more control of the loop flow.
Yeah.
So I just started to make some manual retopology to just have the flow as I want. And have the correct loopings that I need for the shape. Yeah, and just making sure I have symmetry correct. So yeah,
Okay.
so I just make half of this. I think I will delete half of this model, and then yes, that's it. Hide the other one maybe. Oh no, hide it, but working with this. So it's a way to reduce polygons, just to use quad draw to start drawing quads, and like I do in retopology for my characters. It's the same process in a smaller scale. So yes, I can see.
So do you already have a picture in your mind of what the textures will be once you've got to this point?
Yeah, usually the texture is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, see. Yes, usually I have that in mind when I am doing it. Depending on the material, I have more the material rather than the texture
Yeah.
in my mind, because I think what is this? Is leather? Is wood? Is metal? Is
Yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering when you started making this organic. I thought, okay, he's clearly seen that as a piece of wood rather than a piece of brass or a piece of metal, to try and actually make it organic. So
exactly.
I was thinking you must have been thinking ahead to what material actually was.
Yes, it's a good starting point to have always that present in your mind, because it's easier, at least for me, it's easier to visualize the final result. So yes.
Yeah, so very handy tip for beginners there. Get an idea of your materials while you're sculpting, while you're modelling, and that may even help you determine the shape as it has here.
Yeah, and knowing exactly how the loops flow, that's pretty important as well. So that helps you with the final model, with the final shape.
I can see you zipping up there.
Yeah, well, it's the normal process, just to duplicate symmetry, and that's it.
Okay.
So we have a similar model as before, but less polygons and more control for me if I have to add more loops. It's much easier for me to control this kind of shape at this stage, rather than using the other one that has more faces, more things. So I'm just cleaning up a little bit the loops, relaxing them and just making more straight.
So the importance of the loops here is to actually get that curve right, because there's nothing in this that's animated, so we'd normally use edge loops to
Yeah,
make sure we don't get pipe bending where we're animating, but you in fact are just trying to control that sweeping curve
yeah.
with the loops.
That's because when with the materials, when the specularity of the reflections and everything,
Hmm.
it tends to use the correct flows of the shape.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have a very good topology for that. If not, you will start seeing some weird artifacts because of lighting. Well, not because of lighting, because of how the model is made.
Yeah.
So that's one other important thing to keep in mind when doing hard surface as well.
Yeah, and even in big expensive games, we often see those artifacts popping up
Yes.
every now and then. And yeah. And I guess we'd like to have a reputation for making
Not having
things.
artifacts.
Yeah, well, essentially trying to do the best possible job we can in modelling. So, making sure we don't get those clipping problems that we were talking about with Linda yesterday, and making sure we don't get artifacts on our surfaces and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, because in this case, lighting can be your friend or your enemy.
Yeah, and we are, lighting is one of the things we're trying to feature.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we don't want to put the lighting on there and go, oh my God, that crossbow looks awful.
Yes. But as you can see here, I just put another loop very close to that one. Those two loops are close each other,
Hmm.
together. So that's because I try to bevel that area or give some more rounded, you can see more shading. So that's the reason I put another loop very close to that one.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, yeah, quite a long time spent on the organic parts, and I guess that's another thing.
Well, yes, I just wanted to be sure about having this part well done, because this is one of the models that I said earlier that I was modeling, not only blocking, but modeling as well, because that was finished in the concept. So I just wanted to push in some work ahead. And
That's right next to the microphone, can I just say?
Good point. Don't boop on the microphone.
No. Don't. Or that.
Or that.
Can you not just turn it off?
I can just listen for the vibrations.
That'd be great.
so we can see there is some NURBS curve around. There is a curve blue, you can see it. Well, I'm using a lattice now, lattice is a deformer in Maya that allows to get a cluster of vertex in the model, and you can just use those points to control different vertex in the geometry. Something similar to sculpting tools without being a sculpting tool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty handy to just instead of you going loop by loop and redoing this one by one, then you can take it all together with a lattice.
Cool.
That works pretty nice.
Yeah.
Enter Dreamland is now hosting us. Thank you, Enter Dreamland. Oh, took a while to pop up. Yeah.
Another thing that I do here is I try to every piece has a middle loop. I try to put that middle loop.
Oh, there's our.
Yeah,
There we go.
Oh, that was
There's
very
the
nice.
reference.
You can see the reference. Beautiful.
yeah,
So we can see how it's going to look.
yeah. This is for the pipes. This is another trick. We're using curves to extrude a shape through the curve, so I can make some pipes and ropes pretty easy, and or at least very
Okay.
fast. Then what I do is put this part on one side and using the curve and the control vertex to modify that geometry without having to touch any vertex and anything.
Okay.
This is very handy for this kind of shapes. So tubes and ropes. This is another one. I make the same.
Yeah.
So using that technique and adjusting the tessellation to give more roundness. And
Yeah. So each of these bits needs to be powered, so they all need a gas supply from somewhere.
Mhm.
So that gas canister,
There is
steam canister, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in that part of the model, so I was not able to see exactly what was going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something Lincoln has been working today, so that he can clarify me exactly what's happening, because there are lots of pipes, little
Yeah.
pipes and mechanism and things like that, that it's much better to have that clear, because in this kind of models everything is there for something, for a reason. It's
Okay.
not like like an organic thing, that of course that everything is for a reason, but what I try to say is that organic is more chaotic, it's more chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos? Yeah. It's like, it doesn't matter if you fail the symmetry in organic parts,
Yeah.
but in hard surface everything is,
Yeah.
it's perfectly.
It was actually made by somebody, and it was made for a reason.
Yes.
And you've got to embed the reason in the thing. So we need to
Yeah.
see that gas pipe actually drives the magazine.
Mhm.
That the gas pipe actually,
That's
actually pulls the.
that's one of the big differences, obvious differences by the way, but
Yeah.
it's one of the big differences with organic modeling. In organic modeling, maybe you have more freedom in, just roughly speaking.
Okay.
In hard surface, you have to stick very to the concept, because if you fail in one of those shapes, this is one example. I try to align perfectly
Mm-hmm.
everything to the middle line of all the shapes, so I can use the grid in Maya to know exactly how that is
Yeah.
put in word space.
Actually, putting that pipe in is the first time you've been not symmetrical, isn't it? In that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and hello to April. Just saw April there.
So yes.
Yeah. So that pipe is really the first step away from the complete hard body rule of symmetry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But all the rest is just symmetrical. That's a good thing, of course, because you only have to concentrate in.
You only really
in
have to build half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you people realize that I was like deleting all the time that half and putting on again to see how everything is looking. So here is a good example of about what I was saying with the middle thing. I just choose one of the orthographics views, for example the front view,
Mm-hmm.
and I see the middle line that it's aligned with the grid that I have in the background, so I just try to put everything exactly in the middle, and that allows me to be more precise.
Or precise, depending on how you're feeling.
I learned the word.
I'm very adaptable, so if you'd said it for a couple more weeks, I'd have been using precise by now.
Yeah.
That's not quite true, isn't it?
Mm.
You're being Western Australian and all that, and you still don't say dance or prance like normal people.
No, I've tried not to pick up the Kiwi accent and its strange relationship with vowels.
Oh, make up your mind. You just said you were adaptable,
I am adaptable,
but only to Spanish,
I still try to be sensible.
not to normal English speaking folk. Sensible, fuck off.
Sometimes I see the streams in YouTube when you put the video, and I hear myself, and I look like Russian because I pronounce a lot DR,
Yeah.
and,
You're true.
and I feel like, wow, Dimitri, take the Kalashnikov.
You could learn Russian really
But
easily,
no,
couldn't you?
Yeah, but I don't have a fucking word
Привет.
about Russian. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything about Russian.
The really interesting thing that I have learnt is that Russian is not so dissimilar to English in many ways.
Yeah?
In fact, if it transposes quite in some ways.
Yeah.
'cause
Well,
you've
apart
learnt
from the words and the alphabet and the general meaning of things, yeah,
Ah,
Kalashnikov.
pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah. Kalashnikov is universal word, so you know. It's,
Fine.
Okay, so
yeah,
you learnt it here first. Russian and English, the same.
very
Which means Russian and Danish are the same because Danish is English, just said with a funny accent. No?
Whatever.
So, now who's taking it too seriously?
Just carry on.
We had this discussion because I wouldn't swear the other day.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't fucking swear.
Swear.
Doesn't fucking mind anywhere else, but not on fucking Twitch of all places.
No. Laughing from behind.
Sanctimonious fucking git. Australian git. Wow.
All right. So,
Yeah.
yes, back to the show. The rest of the show will be conducted in Russian, which Sergi will
Oh.
speak with Spanish
Then
accent.
we will have a problem. Spasiba. That's the only thing I know.
Just say it over and over again, slightly differently.
Spasiba. Well, I can say it backwards. Obviously.
I know, I think it's Nostrovia is the toast, and Privet, which is how to say hello. That's about it.
Okay. And in German, Kartoffel is potato.
Yes, yes.
It's the only thing I know in German.
Well, we're good then, because it
Yeah.
all sounds like Russian now. Just keep on speaking English the way you do. Throw in a little bit of German, a little bit of Russian, a little bit of whatever.
Spanish,
Yeah, exactly. No
Catalan.
one will know.
Okay.
a little bit of Catalan.
Okay, so that does still look like an iron sight, just a ringed
Yes,
iron sight.
yes. But in fact, it's just a very long cube. But yeah, it's the sight of the crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I put some different small things as well, like this kind of. I hate this terminology. Anyway,
Little adornments, little.
yeah, something fancy that is in the
Details.
Okay.
in the cocking part, in
Right.
right side. Some kind of wheels in both edges of the wing.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So the wheels on the end of the bow.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's perfect. Exactly what I was thinking.
Pulleys.
Police. I knew the word, but I didn't want to say that
There we go.
because I think it's too similar to Spanish and maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's not right. Well,
No,
just
that
say
is
it in
right.
Russian.
Oh, Russian. Polinskins. Oh.
There you go.
Sorry to our
No.
Russian friends.
Okay.
If we had some, they're probably gone.
I have a couple. There's quite a Russian community here in Christchurch.
Well, they all speak English, or they speak Russian, and you
They
don't know
do,
the
otherwise I wouldn't know them. Because I speak no Russian.
difference. Or maybe Russian's just really incredibly close to English, and you didn't know.
Even the alphabet is different. I don't know how you can say
I'll
that.
prove it to you later.
All right. Yes, Privet. It sounds almost exactly like
Fuck
hello.
off.
All right, so
So yes.
getting a very interesting looking bow there, and you are actually working in symmetry. I can see when you adjust one side, you're getting the other side done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's here is another example. I just delete again that part, and because I'm making changes. This is one of the most difficult parts for me for the bow.
Mhm.
In this video, it's just concepting the thing, but the bow in the concept has like different layers of metal.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, well, it is like a little bit tricky to because it's very close together and has that different metal parts in a very specific position, like I don't know the name, like the wing.
The
or
bow?
The bow.
The
The
bow
bow
part?
itself. Yeah. So yes, this is one of them. So there is another one that is a little bit more facing to another position, just in there. Yeah. I have to be very careful in here, because if I modify anything, any vertex, sticking in this position in world space, there are very big chances that I screw up something,
Mm-hmm.
and in fact I just did it 3 or 4 times.
You screwed something up 3 or
Yes,
4
yes,
times.
because I have to delete, because now it has volume. These parts have some
Yeah.
kind of volume, but I have to delete that volume. At the moment it has, but I don't know if in this video we will see it, but I have to delete that part and extrude it again, because maybe I had some stranded vertex or something that it's not correctly aligned with the parallel
right.
vertex, and make some kind of irregular shape that it's not correct. It's very tricky. For hard surface there are things that can be
Yeah.
tricky.
It's beautiful to actually get, when you turn off the grid there and just have a look at the shape. It's,
Yeah.
you get the idea of what you're aiming for there, that layered sort of surface at the front.
Exactly. And
And it looks good.
in any given moment I will add a light, so we can see shadows and things like that even in this stage.
Okay, so this is going to be very interesting to follow the continued development of this weapon through to texturing and
Yeah.
animating.
Yeah, I will have to speak with the animator to know exactly which parts she wants combined or separated.
Yeah.
So yeah, but at the moment I'm just playing with even high resolution surface, so I just enjoying the process.
Well, good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're happy for that.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I must say that I am more focused now, concentrated either.
Fuck.
Oh my god, focus. It's pretty difficult to say that.
Focus.
Focus. It's
Yeah.
like neutral vocal.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Focus.
Yes, exactly.
Focus.
There you go. See, you're getting a Kiwi accent.
Focus.
Focus.
How's in Australian?
Focus.
Focus. You know,
Focus.
It's focus.
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 So it's the same, no? More
No,
or
you get
less.
what,
A little
focus.
bit stronger on the O, because we don't tend to sort of blend out the
wow.
vowels the way these guys do. You know,
For me.
you know about fushing.
So in the back of your nose, you're going to be like real nasal.
Okay.
You don't have to be. Some people do it by choices.
I can.
Yeah, most Australians.
I can differentiate some accents, but Australian and Kiwi, it's quite difficult.
Well, anybody who says chance or prance or lance is Australian.
Okay.
Yeah, or pool.
Peel.
Swimming pool.
Pool. Swimming pool.
Swimming peel sounds like, I don't know, like cross-tie
I actually had to put that on because
Or
Australians don't
Julie.
speak that way.
Julie.
Julie. I have
Julie.
a friend, Julie. It's always amused Margaret whenever I've tried to say her name.
Well, you can't say your name.
I-
It's just wrong.
Just let me point
Julie.
this. Here is one example of when I said I had to remove the volume of those pieces.
Yep.
They don't have the volume right now, so maybe it will be extruded later. Because that's what I said. Something I move maybe a wrong vertex, and then I have to re-extrude everything. As you can see, there is no volume.
Yeah.
So that's yeah.
How do you get the surfaces to actually meet? I mean, do they actually clip back there? Because you wouldn't be able to see it.
Yeah, that's the trickiest thing for this. These two layers, in theory, are stick together at the end of their shape, that part.
Yep.
But I'm trying to avoid to stick them together and just fake it in the model, because if not, the geometry gets a ton of very complexity that it will not be needed to spend too much in that, because it will not be seen, and you will be able to see a good blending between both shapes.
Yeah.
So it is not really necessary. So what I do is just hide one of them, the one that is in the middle. It's a little bit hidden between the bow and the top layer.
Yeah.
So I just play
But even
with
that front one, you don't actually need the back surface, do you? Because it can never be seen.
Yes,
It's gonna be,
yes, but you need the extruded, the volume itself.
But you need the volume,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, so that's it. Here is some more detail in the top part. This is beyond blocking, so it's just modeling like we made with the other one with the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, I try different techniques to see how it's better. The thing is that the original concept has some kind of layered tiles, or this kind of things are like tiles that are like cut between them. There is a cut,
Yeah.
so it's separated. So at the beginning, I just wanted to make some kind of symmetry and extrude everything from there. But then I realized that it was much better to separate the pieces and made it completely like this one. I just have one, I duplicate another one. It's not perfectly, it's not mathematical perfect, but the reference I had with the grid and everything allowed me to make it very similar to the real one. So I just try to see if everything looks fine, and that I had the other model at the other side just in case I screw up something. I have the backup model, so I can repeat the process or change the technique. So I had like 2 or 3 different techniques in my mind to make this, but this is the second one. It worked pretty well. So
Can you actually make those things snap together?
yes, but I don't snap. You mean that the
So the
vertex
two things,
touch-
because they've got a little bit of gap between them, can you make them actually snap
yes,
so the
yes,
surfaces snap?
yes, but I didn't want to
It'd
do
be nice to have a tool that snapped and took away that inner surface.
Yeah. Maya has different snapping tools for that. You can snap in grid, surface, curve, and different places. But I didn't want to snap it because there is a real gap between those shapes.
Okay.
So I just wanted to maintain that gap, and that gives me a lot of contrast. That, as you know, I love contrast in the models. So that gave me that contrast I was looking for. Even when I put the light, you can see those gaps with the lighting.
Yeah.
And it's how it looks in the concept as well. So
Yeah.
that's
Get me a crocodile and make it snappy.
snappy crocodile.
Yes.
Crocodile. But yeah, lots of crocodiles in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Crocodile.
Oh, yeah.
Crocodile Dundee. Era when I was
You saw that?
when I was a child. I
Oh,
was
that will have altered the course of your development.
no.
I loved that movie when it came out, and Paul
course
Hogan
you
was
did.
always something of a hero
Yeah.
in Australia, just for having managed to get that break in the US and
Yeah.
make his movie. But I always loved that character too, because he was heroic, but also quite dodgy.
Yeah. I barely remember. I was a small fry.
He married that girl, He married Linda Kozlowski.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he left his wife to do it, yes. Are
This
they
is a
still
piece.
together? I don't think they are they?
I have no idea.
This is a piece that
We're going to find out.
takes everything together. The front part.
Hang on for the exciting news of whether Paul Hogan and Linda Kozlowski are still a couple. Nothing to
Well,
do with Sergi's
Important.
modelling and blocking.
No.
We went to visit my.
Till 2014.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay, they lasted a while. Well, that's beautiful. That
24 years.
concept. No, we went to visit my mother and siblings in Darwin a couple of years back, and we got to see the crocodiles close up,
No, yeah.
including having them sort of launch themselves out of the water to grab a chicken off her.
Yeah.
And they were snappy.
When we were sitting in this very low boat, I was most uncomfortable with these crocodiles sort of throwing themselves into the air.
I dare say if you'd thrown yourself into the water, they probably would have been a little friendlier
Yes,
with
no,
their teeth.
no doubt.
Yeah, and that's the same for the drum, more detailing.
Ah, yes.
So I start, as you can see, I'm starting to detail some parts. It's not just blocking, it's just starting to give some deep modeling.
There's another book title there, Caress Me With Your Wicked Teeth.
What? Where the fuck does that come from?
Crocodiles. My brain is just strange that way. I hear book titles, movie titles, in things people say. There's a U2 song that's got a lyric which is "It's a dirty business dreaming." I so want to write a book about that. What a really weird and interesting lyric. It's a dirty business dreaming. Yeah.
That makes no sense.
It's intriguing, isn't it?
No, not so much. It doesn't make any sense. It makes so little sense that I don't even want to. I don't know.
I'm the one with the imagination.
Oh, dear. I'm the one with the sense.
I got lost 5 minutes ago. Don't worry.
Sergi's the one with the sense.
So what's this part we're actually evolving here?
It's one of the drum front parts.
Okay.
It's like a cylinder that it's maybe it's part of the drum and it's holding the arrows.
The what? Sorry?
The drum.
Holding the arrows.
Ah, the arrows.
They're bolts, I think, in the crossbow.
The
They're
bolts,
bolts.
yes.
Yeah.
And what
It sounded Russian when you said it.
Yeah, I know. I forgot to just change my accent to
Arrow.
German. Arrow.
Yeah.
Arrow.
Nah.
Arrow.
Nope. Arrow.
Arrow.
No. You're so going to become Kiwi.
Yeah. You are rolling your ass, as we say
No,
in
it's fine.
Australia.
It's fine. I like to be. I like to be rectified. So because that helps me. So yeah.
I mean, I don't care if you still speak with a Spanish accent, but
Yeah.
you know, you might as well learn to say Kiwi if you want.
Yeah.
You can choose and then not be mistaken for Russian anymore.
No, exactly. Because I didn't like to sound too strong with the R's. So
Yeah.
I tried to just soften that. I separated that thing because that's just.
That's intriguing to watch it separated.
I always have a backup just in case. But yeah, it's separated because that's just decoration for the drum.
Yep.
And what I do here is just snapping vertex or just merging them. Oh yeah. And yeah, I separate that. I made that loop because there is a separation in that part of the drum. There is something different. So at the moment I delete it because I am merging those vertex.
Right.
Because I'm merging that because I wanted to extract that other part that I have there, those things.
Yep.
So I needed to make them like a separate piece and put them together as separate pieces, not just like this.
Question. Says this shit looks advanced as. Gosh, what is this program? And Enter Dreamland says, what program are you using to model?
For this, in this case, hard surface usually Maya and ZBrush. Well, hard surface or organic surface. Maya and ZBrush are the two programs I usually work with.
Okay. So advanced as. So yeah, we're.
Did you say advanced?
I did say advanced. I said advanced in proper Australian fashion. So this program is we are streaming the development of our video game After the Light, a zombie survival horror game. So it's yes, it's advanced because we are doing an advanced job here, I guess. But the important thing is it gives people a chance. I nearly said chance there. It gives people a chance to actually see how things are done in a real game development studio, which is really the point of the stream. So yeah, we hope you enjoy it.
What happened? Okay.
I nearly said chance instead of chance, which would have meant that the Kiwi accent was creeping up on me. I was gradually. I'd be saying fush before long. Fush and chops.
At least you don't say fuck yous.
I do sometimes, but
Sometimes.
generally mean what I say.
Yeah, I'm very concentrated in the drum here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was very skillful.
Yes, you were. Very skillful.
It's the coffee. It's the caffeine.
Indeed. So, yeah, for those that joined late, we're actually looking at it was the blocking of crossbow, but we've actually gone into a little more detail now.
Yes. In this
So the first time we've actually shown one of the weapons of the game being developed. At the end of this, if Lincoln's got we won't have time by the end. But at some point we should show the concept art again, just to show.
Yes, at the end of the movie, I just put the concept with the model.
Ah, very good.
So yeah.
Oh, that's good editing on your part. So.
Yeah, here we can see with the light, you can see shadows. So I can see contrast with different shapes and everything. It helps me to.
There we go.
This is the end of the movie. So I just put the image and the final, not the final because I'm still working.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress, but yeah, we can see that it's pretty close to the original. And anyway, the rear part is completely different at the moment, so that will have to change. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's essentially blocked in, but with a little bit of detail.
And we're out.
That was the movie. So that's pretty much it for today. So thank you very much for joining us as we streamed the development of the crossbow from our game After the Light, a zombie survival horror.
On Facebook.
You can follow us on Facebook.
Stickmen Media and After the Light. You can join us on Twitter.
You
I
can.
usually am doing lots of cross things. Cross-side jaw, crossbow.
This is true.
What would be the next?
That's right. To follow Sergi's cross things, come and follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Cross things.
Stickmen Media and After the Light.
And of course, jump in on our stream.
Game VR and come and that too.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be on again tomorrow at 1 p.m. New Zealand time, which is something else in other times. So yeah, we still haven't looked that up. It's only been 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We will look it up and find out what other times it's on. But yeah, so catch up with us tomorrow at 1 o'clock when we'll be talking about something else. Okay. Bye for now.